Hey there everyone, welcome to AFC Game by Game, and this is my reaction to our Champions League group stage draw. And I am doing this a little bit later. The draw was made on Thursday, it's now Sunday, the day after we've beaten Newcastle away from home by a goal to nil. But I wanted to do it that little bit later after the draw, just so I could look a little bit more, I'm saying a little bit more in depth into who we've drawn and what we can expect from these games, and just really when the fixtures are in context to our other games. So it's a difficult group, I would say. I mean, we've been drawn with a tough opposition in Bayern Munich. I'll get onto them last though, because I think that's probably the biggest talking point of this group. But also the likes of Zagreb and Olympiacos. Olympiacos, I don't even know if there's point talking about them. We've played them, I think, 4 times in the last 6 Champions League group stage draws, and I think we all know what to expect. The away game is going to be difficult, but when we go to play them away, it's almost an irrelevant game unless we're playing them right at the start of the group stage. And we've seen the likes of Junaid Mead, Marouane Chamakh, Sebastian Squillaci. I think that was the team that last played against Olympiacos away from home. So that's going to be an interesting game, to say the least. But at home, I would absolutely expect us to clatter Olympiacos. I'm really hoping for a good performance in that game. But they're not a team that are going to be taken lightly. Similarly to Zagreb, they're the dominant force in their respected league. I don't know a lot about Dynamo Zagreb, but what I have looked up is that they are currently the Croatian champion winners. I don't know, whatever their league is, but they're currently bossing their table as well. And you know, again, a team that are just so far ahead of everyone else in their respective league. The same goes for Olympiacos. I would absolutely expect us to get a result against Zagreb at home, a convincing victory. Away from home, I'm not too sure what to expect. I think it will be a difficult game. I think we played them away from home in a difficult stage of our season sometime in September, I think, but I'll have to look into that a little bit later in the video. I have got our fixtures up on my phone just so we can take a little bit more of a look into that. But Bayern Munich is, of course, the big one, the one everyone's talking about. And, you know, I'm kind of, you know, I'm not that disappointed really with this group, because I'd much rather play Bayern Munich in the group stage, have a chance of qualifying, then play them in the last 16 when you can almost guarantee we're going to get knocked out by them. I don't think this is the best Bayern Munich team that we've come up against. I think the one we played a couple of seasons ago was the best Bayern Munich team we faced, and you know, I do expect us to get a couple of points against this Munich team. I'm not saying we'll beat them. I think away from home that would be incredibly difficult to replicate from what we did a few seasons ago, but certainly I think we could do them over our own place, and a draw away from home would be a great result. I'm not getting in over my head. I would gladly take 2 points or even a point against Bayern Munich. If we just win the games that we're supposed to and get a good result, just a draw against Bayern, then that should comfortably see us through in second place. And first of all, being realistic, I do expect us to get second place in this group and then go on and qualify, but that's kind of expected of us. But being an Arsenal fan, that's kind of the realism that I've set myself in this, and it would be great if we could top the group. But it's not impossible, by no means impossible, but realistically I do think we'll get second. I don't think that would be a bad achievement considering that we're playing Bayern Munich as well. But like I already mentioned, this isn't the best Bayern Munich team we've come up against. There is every chance, every possibility, if we get our act together, because the games that we've played already this season haven't evidenced that we're capable of beating Bayern Munich. They could absolutely destroy us if we continue to play the way we have been. You know, if we get a new striker in, if we get a few new transfers in before deadline day, then who knows, maybe we will beat Bayern Munich and maybe we'll top the group. But as you can see, topping the group isn't always the best thing that could possibly happen to you. You know, you can still get a difficult draw. We're always going to come up against a difficult team in the Champions League. I mean, you've got to beat someone decent to get to stand any chance of winning this tournament. So, I mean, I'm relatively happy with the group. I've brushed on Olympiacos and Dynamo Zagreb. Also brushed on Bayern Munich. And one thing that I did want to look at with Bayern is the team lineup that they started with against Bayer Leverkusen. I'm not going to pretend that I watch a load of German football, because, quite frankly, I don't. But I did take notice of the Bayern versus Leverkusen game, simply because I had a bet on it. But it was the lineup of Bayern that really surprised me. They lined up with Neuer, Lahm, Alaba and Bernat at the back, which is an odd lineup in my opinion. 3 at the back, and I mean, are there any centre-backs in there? I don't really know much about Bernat, but I know that Lahm and Alaba are both predominantly full-backs, and Lahm's defensive midfielder. I mean, that's bit of an odd one there. And then in the midfield, that's where they're going to really overrun us, I think. Alonso, Vidal, Thiago and Muller. Of course, they brought in a Arturo Vidal, player we were heavily linked with. He should do brilliantly at Bayern, and he's already started his career really well with them. So that's a very exciting midfield that they've got. And then up top, Costa, Lewandowski and Robben. Douglas Costa is having an absolutely superb career at Bayern Munich. He started really well there. I absolutely hate playing against Robben after that time he dived against us, and I just generally hate Robben as a player. And then Lewandowski, we know the talent that he possesses. We've played against him many a time before. Mertzer and Koscielny, they should have a good knowledge of this player, and I would hope that they're able to cope with him well. Frank Ribery won't be playing against us as he's rumoured to be out until 2016, so that's one bonus we can take from this. But I do expect us to qualify in this group. I am expecting us to go through quite comfortably in second place, but like I mentioned, if we can get first, that's just a bonus. I also wanted to look at when these fixtures come in tangent with the Premier League games, the cup games we've got. And here's the Dynamo Zagreb game that I just previously mentioned earlier on in the video. We've got Stoke at home. Even though it's at home and Stoke have got they've been blistered with red cards after their game against I forgot they were playing West Brom. So they've got a pretty weakened team. I would expect us to beat Stoke, maybe rest a few players in that game, but we can't take them lightly. We've got to have a convincing performance, not only going into the Zagreb game, which is 4 days later, but also going into Chelsea away, which is a massive game for us. And given the way Chelsea are playing, I would love it if we could go to Chelsea and get a good 3 points against them. And then we've got Spurs away in the League Cup 4 days after the Chelsea game. Then we've got Leicester away 3 days after the Spurs away game, and then we've got Olympiacos at home, then we've got Man United at home, Watford away, and then we've got Bayern at home. So that's kind of the introduction to our Champions League group stage fixtures. It's not easy, it really isn't. We've got a lot of away games. Thankfully, Spurs and Chelsea are rather local to us, so we can... we don't have to worry too much about travelling, getting jet lag, that kind of stuff. But the Zagreb game will be a difficult one, I think, just because of the timing that it comes in with our other games. It's vital that we do some business in the transfer market now because we need a robust squad. We need to be able to rotate the team going into these games. I'm not too sure how seriously we're going to take the League Cup, but I don't want us losing at White Hart Lane. I don't care if it's the League Cup or not. We don't go to Spurs and we don't lose that game. It's vital that we get a win at White Hart Lane, given how things went last season. And you know, I'm more than happy to blood a couple of youth players in that, but it's important we go there with a strong squad and we get a win in that game just to show who is the dominant power this side of London. And then the Chelsea game, we've got to get a result there. Zagreb, we've got to start our Champions League group brightly, and then Olympiacos should beat them at home, and we could rotate the squad a little bit in that game, but not take them lightly. I mean, these are difficult games, a difficult point in the season, but it's kind of good that we're getting, like, this is a 6-week period of the season, which arguably over the course of the whole campaign is going to be our most difficult and turbulent stage of the season. But anyway, guys, those were my thoughts on our Champions League group stage draw, and also when it comes in tangent with our other fixtures in and around the Premier League, as well as the Cup game against Spurs. Leave your thoughts on this group stage in the comments box below. Are you happy with our group? Would you rather we'd have had a group similar to Chelsea's? But looking at every other group that the Premier League teams are in, I think every club should be progressing from their respective groups. I mean, City got a tough group, United have got a tough group, but given the money they've spent, I would expect them to go through. And Chelsea have got the easiest group out of everyone. Their only difficult team really is Porto. So all the English clubs should be going through, I think. But it's not going to be easy. It's the Champions League, for God's sake. No game is easy in this tournament. But yeah, like I was saying, guys, those have been my thoughts on our draw in the Champions League. That's been my reaction. Give the video a like if you've enjoyed it. Subscribe to AFC Game by Game. And as always, thank you for watching.